Respect. Welcome back to Smitty's Corner. So, part two of the Incel. We're gonna keep on listening to our homie, and we're gonna see what we got right here. Apparently, he has a lot to share. Honestly, in my opinion, he would be much more successful if he put the microphone down, changed his clothes, buttoned up his shirt, and/or changed it, got the beanie off his head, got a nice little haircut. I can see we got the Shaggy going on up under there from Scooby-Doo, and definitely get out of the garage. If you do that, it just might increase your chances, at least bare minimum, by about 5%. But let's keep on rocking out, and let's see what we got. I digress. My mic is muted. Let's rock out.
More and more people just becoming sexless, being guided by forces they couldn't possibly understand. Something like that. I wonder how common this condition is. Like, maybe that's just the way it is now. Maybe incels are just the norm now and nobody ever talks about it. Because, how would you know if nobody ever said anything? Yeah, I've even wondered if sex is even real or like some elaborate lie. Who knows at this point?
I know that you're saying you yourself have never had sex. You are alive, aren't you? Okay. Because, see, I was thinking about using the example of, I know you've seen porn, but nah, let's take it even further. Sir, you are speaking right now, right? Do you know how you got here? Two people had sex one day. Let's keep rocking out.
When I was 12, I started gaining a little weight around my midsection, which, that's not really considered abnormal by most people. But either way.
No, what is abnormal is having the very, very skinny arms with the beer pot belly. So you want to definitely stay away from that look. Not too attractive, although you might be able to get a couple, you know what I'm saying, stragglers. But I wouldn't really go for that look if I'm really looking for something of quality. Let's keep rocking out.
I just really remember just absolutely hating my body. And seriously hating my body.
Once upon a time, I actually used to say, I hate the way I look. Guess what? My results weren't that good. One day I woke up and I said, I love myself, and I haven't been able to keep women off me ever since. Now I'm on the verge of being married. Happily. Things turn out the way a man wants them to if a man is able to properly harness his authority and power and manipulate his environment. And I mean that as in make the environment around you work for you. You see, make it like work to your advantage. Figure out how to make something out of nothing. That's what we would call that by definition, if you would say. Make something out of nothing. It is very amazing to a woman, a man who can leave the house with basically nothing and come back and basically have what's needed. And I don't mean that in a that day to that night sense. I mean in the sense of you're on the road to something. All right? So I'm speaking metaphorically. Let's keep rocking out.
Was totally disgusted by what I looked like. I remember one time in middle school, they were doing checks for scoliosis, and you had to take off your shirt for them to check you, and it was just like right out in front of everybody, and I didn't want to take off my shirt. They had to take me around the back so nobody could see. I was the only person they did this to. I don't even remember whether or not they took off my shirt. I don't think they did. The whole thing was just embarrassing. I did actually turn out to have scoliosis, by the way. More on that later. I was just so
Now, the thing is I am going to leave room for possibly, honestly, there are people who work in fields. If you work in that field, maybe you can give me some better insight as far as like maybe he has a diagnosis and I'm just not hip. Right now, see, so for the record, I'm judging this video based upon like normancy, all right? Like what most men would say and wouldn't say, the whole nine, all right? Who knows what this guy's diagnosis is or anything? I don't know. But I am going to look at this video, and basically I'm reacting to this video solely upon You know, something that a lot of men go through, and that's having a hard time, like talking to a chick or getting with a chick and everything. And I didn't realize so many dudes have that issue, considering, that's not an issue for me. And I only say that in the sense of, I would love to give the proper advice, but I have to be able to have better insight as to what guys like them say, right? So let's keep on rocking on.
Comfortable in my own body. I would constantly like tug at my shirt to try to create like wrinkles that would like hide my fat outline. So people would think, oh, it's just the ripples in the shirt. It's not his fat stomach. I still feel this way. I don't ever take my shirt off. I'm like Kevin Smith. I'm what they call skinny fat, and I'm
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
a wristlet. My wrist circumference never really bothered me though. Just the fat stomach. I've lost a lot of fat since I was 12. I'm actually the closest I've ever been to my ideal body. More on that later. When I was 13, I lost all of my friends due to various circumstances. Some moved away abruptly. Some started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Some just kind of like drifted away. The thing is though, sometime around this age is when I just started staying inside all the time. Since I didn't have any friends, I didn't really have anything to do, so I just stayed in my room and screwed around on the
Women are very, very attracted to men who are well connected, men who know how to get along with other guys, other chicks, and so on. Just you have a decent circle around you. It seems like you're able to socialize in the proper form. That's all. That's it. You ain't got to be the most popular, the most show out in the school or the workplace or anything. Just be somebody who, folks respect. Present yourself in a respectful manner. And I mean, I can promise you, and when tested, make sure you stand on your integrity, discipline, and principles. You don't let nobody back you down off that. No matter how many people are laughing, you stand on that and you rock out with it. I promise you, you would be surprised at those who would come up afterwards and be like, you know what? That was pretty hot. I like the way you stood up for yourself. Like, that's a real thing. And when that happens, guess what? Secretly, you just might be slowly starting to come across those who truly are of kin spirit to you. Let's keep rocking out.
computer and, like playing Dreamcast. This was back in like the year 2000, so you can imagine how slow the internet was back then, if you're old enough to remember dial-up. I feel like a mentally healthy person might have attempted to make friends again, but something changed.